I'm not blind to the cost of our decision. Two of the campuses proposed are my children's school and where I work. This is really overwhelming and sad.
It's been a rough year for Valley Public Schools. School closings, declining enrollment, questionable spending. Ahead of the November 4th elections, what's the outlook for budget overrides and borrowing requests that help fund our schools? Our politics panel steps in with some answers to that question and many more. Stacey Pearson, Democratic consultant at Lumen Strategies, and Trey Terry, a Goodyear City Council member and conservative political consultant. Welcome back to Square Off.
Thanks for having us.
Good to see you both. Trey, I'm going to start with you. You're a former president of the Agua Fria School Board, and you have an intense interest in this. You live in it. You're also an elected official as well. Just give us some background. How important are these elections to school districts?
They can be. A couple decades ago, the legislature shifted the burden onto local bonds when it comes to building school facilities. So out my neck of the woods, like in Goodyear, the Buckeye High School District's in desperate need of building new classrooms, building new schools for their rapidly growing population. And bonds are the primary way they can build new schools and new classrooms. So it's vitally important for those districts that need new classrooms, need new buildings to make it happen.
And they have to go to voters to get that approval because of what the legislature did during the Great Recession. What do you think the climate is right now, and how do you think it's going to affect the vote?
I think
the bonds and borrowing are very important.
Yeah, I think it's a little mixed. Probably the biggest one in the Valley this year is going to be Westmec's bond. They also have a land sale so that they can generate more revenue other ways. But Westmec's bond is a fiscally conservative package. I know the superintendent there. I know the board there. It's a fiscally conservative district. But what Westmec does, it's one of our CTE districts. It runs these vocational, these training schools, these trade schools for our students in high school or early adulthood. And that's very popular regardless of your politics. Republicans, Democrats, they usually come out and support Westmec. And they have a good track record of just being responsible and transparent. But then you have other districts generating headlines, for example, Tolleson, that kind of put a stain on, I don't know how much it will affect their district demographically. Bonds usually pass there. But in some of these districts that really hang in the balance off of a few votes or a few percentage points, it could soil the water.
It is a low turnout election, Stacey. What are the potential political implications here for public schools and our whole school industry as it's become?
It's almost like pulling $1 billion out of education funding and giving it to vouchers is a problem, right? I mean, we simply don't have enough money to do what we need to do, and voters are getting increasingly tired of being asked to cover that hole when the water's draining into the boat. I mean, the ESA program is bankrupting public schools, and voters are continually being asked to fill the void. That said, everyone wants their neighborhood school down the street to survive, and so voters often vote against their own personal economic interests. And we saw that in November when folks voted for Maricopa County community colleges, and we saw that in Coconino for their community colleges as well. So I think voters want them to survive, but the state legislature and the state itself has to figure out a fix for the ESA hole.
Okay. Topic 2, up to university level now. The University of Arizona joined several other universities in rejecting Donald Trump's offer of preferential funding for the schools in exchange for sticking to the Trump agenda for higher education. Arizona State University kind of laying low, saying it will continue to exchange ideas with the Trump administration. They're being very careful with this down in Tempe. Should U of A and ASU have accepted the Trump offer?
Absolutely not. Academic freedom is a fundamental principle of American values. And if you don't like what's being taught at the school, you're not forced to go there. I mean, that's the interesting part. If you get to University of Arizona, you think it's too conservative, or you think it's too liberal, you think it's too expensive, you think it's too inexpensive, you can move. And so I think it's a basic tenet of academic freedom.
Should they have accepted the offer?
It's up to each individual university. One of the things when it comes to federal funding, whether it's for healthcare, transportation, or education. A lot of times it comes with strings attached. And from the reporting that I've heard on this, many of these provisions that they're asking for are kind of common sense, or they align with recent Supreme Court decisions when it comes to quotas in academic institutions. But at the end of the day, it's up to the individual universities. I think eventually the Trump administration will get enough takers to where this really doesn't become a big issue. And it'd be interesting to see how it plays out, especially if ASU does sign on while the U of A did not.
Any retribution, do you think, from the Trump administration for those that didn't sign on?
Of course,
Yes.
but there's going to be retribution if they did sign on. I mean, that's the thing, is Trump has no friends. There is no one he's loyal to.
Let's move on. Topic 3. Republican Party Chair Gina Swoboda is running for Congress with Donald Trump's endorsement, she said, though we haven't heard from Trump directly on social media or anywhere else. Does that endorsement clear the Republican primary field in CD1?
It usually clears, if not significantly narrows the primary field. You know, he could endorse another person. That is rare, although we've seen it multiple times now here in Arizona. But it seems, barring him endorsing a second person, I don't see another nominee that.
Where have we seen that before? The governor's race? Turning Point USA does not like Gina Swoboda. Right. They have the knives out.
Correct.
Is it possible they could call her somebody?
I would argue that's more operational than ideological. Gina Swoboda hasn't used Turning Point USA's vendors. They haven't. It's more to do with the infrastructure. Yes, they may try to recruit somebody. I saw one of their folks was trying to push Jay Feely into switching districts to run against Swoboda. But at the end of the day, I think they're a little more concerned on who the next AZ GOP chair would be.
Okay. CD1, is this just fun for the Democrats to watch?
It is exciting to watch. We have too many good candidates, and the GOP in this district is really searching for one. So that's kind of entertaining.
Too many. All right, gotta leave it there. Trey Terry, Stacey Pearson, thanks so much for joining us.